Don't bother coming home for the party, Emma. Sarah needs the room more than you do. That was the text glowing on my screen as I sat alone in my Tokyo apartment, jet-lagged from a 12-hour shift and stunned by what I'd just read. Attached was a photo of my childhood bedroom, now repainted in pastel pinks and purples, transformed into a nursery. My bookshelves, posters, the hand-painted blue walls I'd once shared with my dad, gone. Erased like I was never there. I'm Emma Chin, 29, a software engineer living in Japan. For the last 3 years I've been secretly paying my parents' mortgage and utilities, $3,000 a month, quietly labeled as family support, ever since Dad lost his job. They always assumed the money came from a government program. I never told them otherwise. Sarah, my younger sister, the golden child, had moved back in last month with her husband after announcing she was pregnant. I should have known. Another text buzzed in. Sarah says the stress of having you visit might affect the baby. We think it's best you stay in Japan for now. I stared at the message, then opened my banking app. Tomorrow, another $3,000 was set to transfer. 3 years of giving, calling every weekend, sending care packages, listening to excuses about why they couldn't visit. Flights are too expensive, they'd say, even after I'd offered to pay. I called Kate, my best friend. She picked up on the second ring. They did what? She snapped when I told her. Apparently, I'm bad for the baby's energy, I replied, trying to keep my voice from cracking. Please tell me you're canceling those transfers, she said. They don't deserve your help. She was right. I looked again at the photo. The window seat where I used to read for hours was now stacked with stuffed animals. The dent in the wall from when I'd thrown a math book during finals, patched over. Like I'd never existed. It's not that easy, I murmured. If I stop, they could lose the house. Sarah's having a baby. A baby you're not even allowed to visit, Kate said sharply. Emma, they're using you. They have been for years. She wasn't wrong. When I got into MIT with a partial scholarship, they said they couldn't help with the rest. But when Sarah wanted to go to community college, they found the money. When I got hired in Tokyo, silence. When Sarah became a part-time yoga instructor, they threw her a party. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Dad. Your mother's right. Sarah needs stability. Maybe you can visit next year, once the baby's settled. Next year. Always next year. I opened my laptop and pulled up my account. 3 years of transfers. $108,000. Not counting holidays. Not counting emergencies. Not counting the emotional toll. Then I saw it. The mortgage statement stared back at me. For 3 years I'd been sending payments through automatic transfer, never once checking the balance. Now I was staring at the number, and it took my breath away. Kate, I said into the phone, I need to call you back. I spent the next hour doing calculations, reviewing my savings, pulling up public property records. By the time I closed my laptop, a plan had fully formed. A plan that would show my family exactly what they were so casually discarding. Then came another message, from Sarah. Mom told you about the nursery, right? Don't make this difficult, sis. My baby needs a proper room. It's not like you're ever here anyway. Not here. I'd wanted to be there. For holidays. For birthdays. But every spare dollar that could have gone toward flights home went to their mortgage. To keeping their lights on. To supporting them. I opened my banking app. Tomorrow's $3,000 transfer still sat in the queue. My finger hovered over the cancel button. But no, that wasn't enough. They needed to understand what they'd lost. I called the international service line for my bank. The agent answered. Hello, I said. I'd like to discuss paying off a mortgage in full. The next morning, my inbox and phone were already filling with family texts. My mother had sent photos of Sarah arranging baby clothes in my old closet. Look how perfect this space is for the baby, she wrote. Sarah has such an eye for design. I didn't reply. Instead, I called HR to initiate the sale of my stock options. Then I contacted a real estate lawyer in my hometown. Yes, I can pay off the mortgage, I said. But I want my name on the deed. Can we do this without notifying the current owners? He paused, then said, Since you've made all the payments and can prove it, we have options. By the time we hung up, everything was in motion. More messages came. This time from Sarah. Don't be weird about the nursery. You're already living your dream in Japan. I'm stuck here. Stuck. They'd converted my room before the moving truck even finished unloading. This wasn't about necessity. It was about entitlement. Kate called on my lunch break. Please tell me you're not still sending them money. Actually, I said with a smile, I'm doing something better. I explained the truth. For 3 years, they'd assumed the mortgage was magically paid by some generous government program. They never once asked where it came from. They never thought it might be me. So, what's the plan? Kate asked. I stared at the confirmation email from my lawyer. To show them exactly who's been holding their world together. That evening, my dad sent a message that made my blood boil. Your mother says you're not responding to her texts. Don't be difficult. Sarah needs our support right now. You understand. You've always been the independent one. Independent. That's what they called it when they abandoned me. When they said they couldn't help with MIT, but magically scraped together funds for Sarah's community college. When they forgot my birthdays. When they gave away my room without a word. I opened my laptop and started typing. Subject, the truth. Dear Mom and Dad. For the past 3 years I've been paying your mortgage and utilities. That money didn't come from the government. Came from me. Every month, $3,000 of my salary went toward keeping you afloat. As of today, the mortgage is fully paid off. You'll find documents in your mailbox confirming it. Since I'm no longer welcome in my childhood home, I've made arrangements for the property's future. After all, I now legally own half. Love, Emma. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Within minutes, the messages flooded in. Mom, what do you mean you paid the mortgage? Dad, is this some kind of joke? Sarah, are you seriously making this about you? I muted the group thread and went to bed. The next morning, the lawyer confirmed. The mortgage was paid, the paperwork was being filed, and soon my name would be on the deed. I officially owned half of the house. Noon my phone rang. I knew it would. Emma, my mother's voice screeched through the phone. What is the meaning of this? These papers say you paid off the mortgage. Yes, I replied calmly. Surprise. But why didn't you tell us? Would it have made a difference? Would you have treated me any differently? Or would Sarah still be more important? Silence. The lawyer will explain everything, I continued. But here's what matters now. I own half that house. So the next time you think about erasing me from it, remember who kept you from losing it in the first place. You can't do this, she whispered. Actually, I can. And I did. I paused, then added. Tell Sarah to enjoy the nursery. I'm sure it'll photograph well when I list my share of the property for sale. Hung up. My hands were trembling, but my heart was steady. For the first time, I wasn't the invisible daughter. I was a force. My phone rang again. Sarah. I let it go to voicemail. Whatever she had to say could wait. I had a meeting with a real estate agent. Kate texted. Phase 1 complete. Yep, I replied. Want to help with Phase 2? There's a Phase 2. Oh yes, I typed, grinning. They're about to learn exactly what their independent daughter is capable of. 3 days after the truth came out, everything shifted. And this time, I was the one in control. Why parents stopped texting about Sarah's nursery. Instead, their messages shifted to desperation. Can we please talk this through? They wrote. Even Sarah's husband called twice. Probably realizing their rent-free arrangement was about to end. I let them sit in silence and uncertainty. With Kate's help, I initiated Phase 2. I hired a property assessor to evaluate the house. When the report came back, I forwarded it to my family with one line. Interesting how much half a house is worth these days. My mother called immediately. Emma, please. We need to discuss this like adults. Actually laughed. You mean like how you adultly decided to give away my room without a conversation. Or how you texted me to stay in Japan so Sarah wouldn't be stressed. We were just trying to help your sister, she offered weakly. No. You were doing what you've always done, choosing Sarah and expecting me to quietly accept it. But not this time. This time it's going to cost you. That evening my father emailed me a long letter. He admitted they'd taken me for granted. He said they were ashamed for never asking where the money came from, and begged me not to sell my share of the house. I replied with 3 conditions. My room stays mine. The nursery goes in the guest room. A formal apology. From all of them, acknowledging how they've treated me. Family counseling. All of us, including Sarah. If you agree, I ended the email, I'll consider keeping my share. But one more instance of favoritism, and it goes on the market. The next morning Sarah called. Her voice was quiet, tentative. I didn't know you were the one supporting us, she said. Why didn't you tell me? Would it have mattered? I replied. You've spent your whole life taking things from me, Sarah. My room was just the latest example. There was a long pause. I'm sorry, Emma. I really am. I never saw it from your side before. Well, now you have to, I said. Because your comfortable life in my room depends entirely on my goodwill now. The following week, my parents converted the guest room into a nursery. They sent photos of my old room restored to exactly how I'd left it. My mom even found the original blue paint to fix the walls. Family counseling began over video. It was awkward at first. But slowly, truths emerged. Sarah confessed how their favoritism made her feel pressured to be perfect. My parents finally acknowledged their bias. And I finally spoke the years of pain I'd held inside. A month later I flew home. For the first time in years. The house felt different. Not because the walls had changed, but because the power dynamics had. I wasn't invisible anymore. I wasn't just the independent one. I was a daughter with a voice, and a name on the deed. Sarah met me at the airport, her baby bump visible beneath a sweater. I saved this for you, she said, handing me a worn paper card. Your favorite coffee shop's loyalty card. Been adding points. Thought we could go there together. A small gesture, but it meant something. At home, my mother had cooked my favorite meal. Not Sarah's. My father showed me the updated deed. My name clearly printed beside theirs. The nursery in the guest room was beautiful. And Sarah, she looked genuinely happy with it. That night, lying in my bed in my room, I got a group message. Mom, we're so sorry it took something so drastic to open our eyes. Dad, we're proud of you, Emma. Not just for your success, but for standing your ground. Sarah, I love you, sis. Thanks for giving us a chance to make it right. I smiled and typed back. Love you all. Let's make it count this time. 6 months later I became an aunt. They named her Emma, after her strong, stubborn, successful aunt. Fly home often now. They visit me in Japan. Sarah and I have weekly sister dates over video chat. And my parents, they call just to say hi. Not to ask for money, not to guilt trip me. Just to ask how I'm doing. Sometimes it takes losing everything to realize what really matters. In their case, it took nearly losing their home to realize they were about to lose their daughter. But in the end, we didn't just save the house, we saved the family. And my room. It's still blue. Still mine. And now, it has the perfect view of my niece's nursery across the hall. Exactly how it always should have been.